I used to think that when a woman paid me, that her goals were my only concern. Hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever is important to you, whatever your dream, your vision, your goals are, I'm here to support you in making that happen. That all changed when I got really honest with myself. And the thing that broke the camel's back happened when a woman had hired me because she wanted to write and publish a book, because she said she wanted to get speaking engagements, she wanted to become a keynote speaker, she wanted to be on podcast, and she wanted to share her message and her lessons with many people. So I said yes to the project. And after months and months of working on it, we prepared for the launch. Now, book launches are one of my specialties. I absolutely love the strategy and the thought that goes through, and how do we get this book in as many hands as possible? And how do we turn it into podcasts, summits, speaking engagements, and a ton of money? So whether it's a course or a retreat, something else that's sold on the back end, I love creating 80,000, 100K, 200K launches. This is actually what I'm meant to do. I am not an editor. I am not a cheerleader. I am not a cover designer. I am not here to help people figure out how to get their book up on Amazon. So in the middle of the launch, she decides that it's actually not important for her to promote this book, to post it on social media, to ask her launch team to purchase it, to ask them to review it. She decides that she doesn't want to ask anyone to do anything. And when I asked her what she wanted to achieve in this launch, she said, I simply want my book to be available for purchase on Amazon. Here's the thing that absolutely hit me like a ton of bricks, is if all someone wants, really wants, is to have their book on Amazon for some random person to maybe find and maybe purchase, that can be achieved by going onto YouTube, putting in the search bar, how do I upload my book on Amazon? I am not necessary for that project. No amount of experience or strategy or creativity is needed for that. If somebody just wants to put an offer on their website and hope that one day someone stumbles upon it and buys it off of a link, they don't need me. But if somebody wants to have the ability to make lots of money, cultivate their story, cultivate relationships, receive referrals, put together collaboration deals, they can make more in one than attorneys make in a year, then I'm very much that person. And what I realized in the moment with that client is that I needed to excuse myself from the table. And what I did is I went in for some deep self-reflection, and this is what I discovered. That when my gifts are not being utilized and my clients are not interested in getting paid a lot of money and in receiving amazing opportunities that lead to greater visibility and more money in the bank, I don't feel any amount of fulfillment. If my best gifts are not being utilized, I don't want to be there. Even if they paid me and this is what they care about, I am not the person to help them make that happen. They can go hire a lot of different people who don't have my point of view, my perspective, my experience, and who have not created what I've created. When I excused myself from that client, from that chat, from that situation, every single thing inside of me changed, because I got real about, I'm not interested in working with women who want to help people, who want to inspire others, who want to write a book, who want to start a community, who even want to start a business, but they're not interested in getting paid. And they're not interested in getting paid a lot. You see, the one question I failed to ask that client was, how much money do you want to make as a result of writing your book and publishing it on Amazon? What do you want to happen as a result of being on more podcasts and being a keynote speaker? Do you want to make money from sharing your story and being yourself? Because had I asked that question, I probably would have got the answer. Because this is the other thing I've learned is that women will tell you the truth if they care about money or they don't. I am not here to help women who say, if my story just inspires one person, if my business just helps one person, it will be so worth it. They can have that mindset. They can have that as their big goal and their big vision, but I can't work with them. I can't be in the same room with them because that absolutely frustrates me. And what it does when you put a big thinker with people who have very tiny visions and who are willing to settle for so little, it creates this gap. It creates this knowing that we're not on the same page and they don't actually need me and they are not good for me either. And I want to talk a little bit about this whole concept of if I could just inspire one person, if I could just help one person. The idea of thinking that that is going to be enough to make us feel fulfilled in life, that we can go 6 feet under and go, you know what, I did what I came here to do. I was able to create the life that I wanted. I was able to, feel satisfaction and fulfillment. It's just not true. But here's the reason why a lot of women have bought that hook, line, and sinker, and why they continue to perpetrate that. Is that the right word? Perpetuate that. They are happy to marry rich husbands. In fact, all the women who I've worked with who didn't care about money, which by the way, that one client helped me see how many others were in my circle. Women who don't care about receiving money or making a lot of money, they just want to make a difference and they just want to be, show everyone that they're a very good person and they're here to make the world a better place. They will almost always marry a rich man. And they're totally fine being taken care of and receiving money through him. But this is the reason why they have fallen for this whole religion, this whole cult of just be a good person and inspire others, but you don't need to get paid. It's because money has a bad rap. I mean, what has a worse reputation than money, right? And so many women think that if they align themselves with money, then they're going to get that bad rap too. Then people are going to think that they're selfish, that they're shallow, that they don't care about anyone, that they only care about themselves, that they don't care about bigger issues or what's going on in the world or what's happening to their neighbor or anything. They just care about money. When women partner with money, this means that they are committed to not just being good at what they do, because you can't just be good at what you do and get clients. You can't just be good at what you do and build an incredible life, income, business. She thinks that if she aligns with money, she's going to actually have to learn how to sell. And she's correct in that. And nothing could be worse than selling. People who are good salespeople, we compare them to used car salesmen, to this slimy son of a gun that no one wants to be around. That's one type of sales. That's one type of person. That's one category. But there's a million ways to do it. But we don't want to look at that because if I have to learn sales and I have to like money and I have to receive money and I have to become a bad person, well, that's not going to work for me. And a lot of people don't like rich people. And I don't want to be grouped with that. This is the thing that I have learned is that this idea that someone is going to help the world be a better place, and if I just help one person, it's all good. Here's the truth of the matter people don't want to look at. Number one, I'm not under any illusion. I'm not going to help people. I am going to stand next to people until they remember that they have it all within them. It's not all within me to give to them, or it's not all within me and I'm going to throw them on my back and lug them up the mountain. When people come closer to me, they are so inspired to be their best self, not to have me do it for them or to take on my vision. They become so sick of the ways that they have compromised. I was a volunteer overseas in my 20s. I was in Burma, Myanmar, I was in Albania, I was in Kenya. And this was the biggest thing that I learned so many things as a volunteer overseas. But in the context of today's conversation, what I learned is this. I've had 25 years to watch these kids that I worked with in orphanages grow up, make choices, get married, have kids or not, create a career or not, end up in trouble or not. And I can tell you for every single one of them, it was a personal choice. It wasn't because I was a volunteer at that orphanage. It wasn't because Red Cross came in and gave them a blanket. It wasn't because someone gave them a handout and then had to keep giving them a handout and a handout and a handout. It was because at some point they decided to stop hating the people who killed their parents. They decided that they weren't going to go through life with a chip on their shoulder. That they figured out that if you blame someone else for your current state, you can never get out of this current state. But if you will take personal responsibility, then you can have a totally different life. You can have whatever you want. When women think that they're going to be someone's savior and someone's source of inspiration and they're going to help another person change their life, this is the thing I always ask people, when's the last time you changed? Tell me something major that you changed about yourself. I have yet to meet someone who is a night owl and they become an early bird and they are just, they're like me. They're up and they're at them and they're like hitting it. And they get more done by 7 a.m. than the rest of the world does in a week. It doesn't happen. What about the hermit, the introvert? Do they ever become a social butterfly? That woman that is forever chasing bad boys and bad men with issues and potential, does she ever settle down with the good guy who's predictable and an engineer? It never happens. And yet we think that we're going to change someone else because we put out one little thing and that just, oh, it just changed everything for them. It's not how it works. And this is what I have learned is that if my best gifts, I'm a natural networker, natural connector. I'm good at bringing people together. I'm good at matchmaking people in every context. I'm an excellent communicator. I'm good at self-expression, storytelling, writing, speaking. I'm really good at teaching and leading. And when I'm able to do those things and people get good results and they listen to me and they don't argue with me and they don't ghost me and they don't defend their small dream and they don't hire me for this and then just decide to do it however way they were going to do it before they hired me. When I'm with the right people, my gifts get better and stronger and they get better and better results. Not to mention, I realized, when I work with people who don't utilize my gifts, who just say, I just want my book up to be available for sale on Amazon, and whoever bumps into it is meant to bump into it. That doesn't make for a good testimonial. Oh, you know what? You know why you should work with me? Because my last client, she didn't listen to anything I said. She freaked out. She didn't want to sell or promote. She didn't want to ask anyone for a 5-star review. She didn't even want to say that she wanted to be on podcasts. But her book's available on Amazon. That's why you should work with me. I don't want to work with people who go, you know what? I know networking is awesome, but I'm just fine being a wallflower and observing and sitting in the back and never speaking, never being prepared. I'm happy to do a coffee chat with 100 people who will waste my time. And if something comes of it, great. And if it doesn't, it's okay. I've got nothing better to do. That's not my client. If I've got someone who goes, I think a collaboration means I get on a hour Zoom call and we both complain about our businesses and then we give each other one good idea for a social media post next week and we call it a day. No, I am here to work with people who say this person and my audience, their people and my people, they overlap in this way. They bring this, I bring this. And if we came together and we created something that was a dream for our group, they'd make an extra 100K and I'd make an extra 100K. And that's just off of one thing. And if we did this over and over once a quarter for a whole year, it would turn into this. That's the type of stuff that lights me up. I cannot work with people and just go, whatever floats their boat floats mine, because it doesn't. And that was where I wasn't being honest with myself. I can't take creative, innovative ideas and place them at the feet of people who go, yeah, you know what, that just doesn't interest me. And in fact, I don't even think it's good. If you can feel what I'm saying and you understand where I'm coming from, and you have ever wondered if you actually could work with the people who would appreciate your unique gifts, your specialties, the things that you have honed over time, stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a whole series. Buckle up. It's going to be like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks of lives, 4 days a week. I'm going to be talking about this elevated space. I'm putting together a networking circle. I cut my teeth on BNI. I know all the best things about BNI and all the worst things. I know the gaps and the pitfalls of most networking circles. Most people network just to network, and they're not getting results. They're not getting clients and introductions and collaborations every time. You know why? Because the people that they're in the room with don't know how to network, don't know how to make introductions. They don't know how to introduce themselves. They don't know what a collaboration looks like and means, and they sure as shit don't know how to lead it. In this networking circle, I'm going to train every single person on my methodology that leads to maximum revenue opportunities. And so that you don't have to network for your health, you can actually network for your bank account. You can network for your dreams that you haven't figured out how to make come true on your own. Every single person will be trained on how to do this. And so within the group, we can do it together, and we can all meet at the same level. No one's coming in to bitch about their business, to complain about the market, the economy, their ex-husband. That's not okay. No one's coming in looking like the cat drug them in. They just rolled out of bed. No one is going to take your information and then contact you afterwards and say, hey, can I have an hour of your time? And then ramble about themselves for an hour on Zoom. No, we don't do that. There are standards and there's a way of doing it. And I'm going to train every single member of the group so that not only can the group trade and circulate and generate as much income as possible, but also use that as a template for every other group, every other conversation, every other interaction. I have facilitated networking groups that in a 1-hour call, hundreds of thousands of dollars is moving. $1 million ideas are clicking because people come with that expectation. They don't come so that they can vent and they can get encouragement and they can get inspiration for how they can promote their next offer. It's not networking 101. I'll be sharing all about it. If that's you, if that sounds like something that you want, like this is my dream. I have accomplished so many things through networking, including every single opportunity I got when I was a volunteer overseas. Stay tuned. I'll see you tomorrow. If you don't want to end up resentful and feeling like your gifts don't matter, don't work with people that your gifts don't matter for. That's the secret. That's what I learned. I'll see you soon.